sooner rather than later. It looks like we are on with 325 starting at Link's house and getting the book, and GTG and Sanctuary getting 20 rupees.
Very nice indeed there. That is, after we finish our first clear, that may push us a bit in the Desert Palace direction, as we have early access to that area. If you end up not deciding to go to Eastern, and making use of that Red Igor possible Randomizer change up to skip the Bowlock room.
Yeah, if you get a weapon good enough, Eastern is probably completable. I mean, unless of course you find like an Argus there and you don't have the hook shotters, because goofy boss things could always still happen. Oh, hi, Deadrock. What are you doing down there?
I'm just here in your dungeon, blocking your path. All right, so not much in the first part of escape there. We just got some money, and that's about it. The book is all that we have there. So onward, I'm assuming to Kakariko or perhaps South Shore, depending on what these runners' preferences is. It looks like SAGTG is going towards the South Shore clear, and someone325 is going to look what appears to be.
No, I think
no.
I think GTG's idea is going to be to. Well, no. Now where's he going? Oh, he's going to farm. Well, no, he's not farming that bush crab. No, I was going to say his idea is going to be to take these bushes that he's about to come up to and try and farm bombs off of them. You get a 50-50 shot at a bomb in 2 or 3 of those bushes, and if you can just keep reloading the screen, you might be able to build up some bombs.
Always a good idea. And someone325 finds the fire rod in the mushroom spot in the Lost Woods.
That's a beautiful thing to find. That's a great weapon.
A ranged weapon that does really good damage is always nothing to be sneezed at, but it's going to burn through your magic supplies pretty quickly.
Not sure what GTG saw over on the race game, but he's interested in it. Oh no, and he didn't throw the bomb, so now he can't go get it.
He set himself up the bomb?
I don't know if his finger slipped or something, but he dropped the bomb instead of throwing it and couldn't get back to the wall in time.
Well, it looks like he's going to be going back into Kakariko, checking out the tavern, while someone325 is going to Sick Kid. Only gets 20 rupees off of him, but still good stuff nonetheless. All right. Instead of farming bombs, someone325 is opting to buy them. It's a pretty fair price. It's not going to take a big hit to your rupee total unless you plan on going to Azor very early, but so it should not be that much of a problem. Ooh, we've got Beamos in the chicken hut. Ouchies.
It's either Beamos or like 4 guards, and you just disrupted their poker game.
And then there's just one chicken just because we can.
Bottle vendor's gonna have 10 rupees. I want to say that the bottle both of them picked up in the escape or in the Uncle's Passage had a gold bee in it, so you could release that to the bottle vendor for 100 rupees.
Interesting. I did not see whether that was. Oh, it looks like, yep. There's 100 rupees for that bee.
See, there you go. So GT just got 10 free arrows. 325 finds our first sword of the game. Well, our first where a sword was going to be of the game.
All right, and GTG is right behind him, whereas 325 is going into Blind's hut. See what these 5 chests have in store for us. And we've got our gloves. That is our first piece of Dark World access. Still have the hammer and or Titan's Mitts and Moon Pearl to go. So
it
now that
looks
we
like
have the fire rod and the gloves and the books, that's pretty much shouting Desert Palace to me. Possibly something on the land mollusts themselves.
we get a map check, I believe, on GTG side. 325 checked it earlier as well. We have Red Pendant Hera, Blue Pendant Desert, and Crystal 6 out in Eastern Palace.
Interesting. Now this is all dungeons, so what's where the pendants don't really matter all that much unless there is something on the pedestal. But with it also being all dungeons, you're going to need those pendants anyway. So the pedestal ends up being pretty like another just one-off check rather than the big pedestal hype that people are used to.
And 325 is going to go to the race game and see that it is the ice rod. So, excuse me. So that actually makes Trinex killable early almost if we can find the hammer to do damage to him.
Yeah, you would need the hammer to actually attack him and then be able to survive him in the first place. But I'm bet these runners could definitely do that.
Oh, the bush guard! The bush guard just took 325 out in the middle of the game.
It's an ambush guard.
Well played, sir. Well played.
It's like, hello, what's under this bush? It was pain!
So GTG's going to pick up his fire rod. He checked the lumberjack for just a heart piece, and it looks like he's going to finish his route right here. Although he might, now that he's in Lost Woods, take that pedestal check.
You have the book. You can definitely see what's on there, see if it's something that you want to route in early, or if it's just more cash. But no, he decides just to head out of the Lost Woods. So what it is will remain a mystery for now.
So although 325 does have the fire rod, he doesn't actually have a lot of magic. He's probably got 2 shots. So whatever's in Mini Moldorm Cave, he's going to need to use his bombs well if he wants to get the five prizes out of there.
That is correct there. We need to pull a peppy here and use bombs wisely.
Or use the gold bee.
Bee, attack! Ooh, we've got the Bombos medallion and the shield from Mini Moldorm Cave here. That is very interesting. Gives us another way of attacking, albeit with magic nonetheless, but it's still a way to attack.
Well, it's not a way to attack in swordless, because the only places you can use medallions in swordless are on the medallion spots.
Yes, you are correct there. Technically, that requires the Master Sword, but because it's a swordless, we now have special pedestals that we can attack them from, mainly in the places that you would normally use medallions at, and also in a couple places in Ice Cavern as well, if you are without the Fire Rod. And by Ice Cavern, I mean Ice Palace.
Question in chat: what the heck does the pot crab icon mean? Over as you can see, the icons at the top of the screen. The icons at the top of the screen describe the seed in pictures as 325 finds the Moon Pearl and Ice Rod Cave. So we have in all dungeons, open is the leg picture. The no sword means swordless. The H means hard, and the pot crab means enemizer, which means all the enemies and bosses are going to be shuffled around. And this was picked by GTG.
That is right there. It looks like we've got one of the most challenging seeds we can have for a little bit.
We also have silver arrows. I believe, yeah, that was silver arrows out on Hylia Island.
Very interesting. We haven't been able to get to them just yet, I don't believe, but that's definitely something to keep your eye on. But it looks like someone325 is heading up towards Sasha's place, going to pay him a visit and go over at his closet, and then perhaps check out what's in Eastern Palace. With Randomizer, as we mentioned before, the Igors that normally make the place bow-locked are not, may or may not actually be there. So we'll have to see what is actually in that area, and whether or not the boss is actually defeatable at this point.
Eastern and Desert are both pretty attractive options, all things considered. But Eastern 6 chests are probably a little more accessible, and there is the possibility that Desert could be boot locked.
That is correct. There, Eastern does have 6 chests, although only 3 items, I believe. One of them technically could be behind the lamp, whereas Desert Palace only has 2 items, and one of them might be on the torch, which is boots locked. Oh, we've got
GTG's going to take his glove to the back of Escape and see what pops out of these 3 chests.
It's definitely an easy 3 chests to get with the glove. It's just an easy pickup. And inside these chests today, that we've got the key to the front of Escape and just some generic stuff. So no luck on that check, but a good idea nonetheless.
Looks like GTG is going to take the book, not hint, but take having the book as a sign to go to Desert and Nagina.
Yeah, you can definitely get in Gita right now. Still have got the bombs for it. We'll see what other enemies are being spawned in this crazy Randomizer seed. And if we can make our way past the guard, which we do. Meanwhile, someone325 is still going through Eastern Palace. Hasn't found anything of note just yet. But if it is completable, that is our first dungeon under our belts once he gets to the end. He has found the boss key. So we are able to get there if it's willing. And we also get a first hint tile. And we know that the Swamp Palace Big Chest is just cash and therefore not interesting.
Well, there's the jackpot, folks. There is the hammer. That is the most important item in a swordless seed, and 325 just found it in the Eastern Big Chest.
Yeah, that is going to be your main method for attacking in this mode there, because without a sword, your hammer is the best melee weapon that you got, and it doesn't require any magic, thankfully. Now it looks like someone325 is taking on the Dark Room in Randomizer mode, which is challenging to say the least, but is going through it just fine. But he's down to half heart, but gets out of the Dark Room and is going to be crossing the bridge over the main way to get to that section, but he won't be able to tank the what normally is the dark bubbles there. Hopefully it's something a bit more manageable, and yes, it is. We get our chest there. We've got a big whopping 300 rupees. So that's all of our items that we can get right now, and 325 is dipping out.
300 rupees at that point is a great find, because it also lets you try Zora. You probably shouldn't fake Flipper and Randomizer, because just like everything else, you don't know what's going to be in the water, and something just picked off 325 outside of Sanctuary, took all of his hearts.
Well, I believe he was at about a half heart. Oh wait, no, it was a bomb slug that was just under the grass there, and it just went surprise.
Okay, those things are in Mire, and they do a ton of the things from Mire, right? They do a ton of damage. Nice double kill by GTG on the crabs.
Yeah, those are always fun there, where you can just pick up the bomb and run straight at the enemy. And I was like, hey, I can tank this, can you?
So GTG was able to find the big key in a pretty reasonable spot. Now he's going to go to the torch, see what is there, since neither of the keys were there. Nope, wrong door, the other door. Gonna go to the torch, gonna go check the hint, and continue to work his way through this desert.
Some cash requires the cane of Samaria. I don't remember what that is or which specific chest that refers to off the top of my head.
I don't actually think it's going to be anything specific. That's pretty much like cash in TR or cash on the right side of GT. I don't think there isn't a lot of information to be gleaned off of that one.
Possibly Turtle Rock though, but GTG has to abandon the Desert Palace while someone325 finds a hook shot in the bottom of Escape.
So it looks like GTG got both items. I think Landmo's room is gonna hold the compass, and meanwhile 325 is just making great headway through this seed, having found the hammer and the hook shot 15 minutes in.
Pretty much, he's got two of the main attacking weapons that you can use in swordless mode. And one thing that always amuses me in Randomizer there is that you'll see a lot of the enemies are recolored because in most dungeons they use a specific color sheet. It's like being put under different lighting than their normal habitats, and so that's what recolors them interesting shades.
Question in chat: why did GTG go to the Uncle's Passage again? And most likely he did that for the 2 magic pots, because he still doesn't have the hammer from Eastern Palace.
Thankfully, doing Escape swordless is not the biggest issue in the world there, because there's a lot of attacking pots in this area, so you can remind all the guards and such that pot is bad for you.
And GTG also gets his hook shot, so he will be able to stun some of the things that he can come across.
That is right. Actually, the hookshot is one of the few things that can stun enemies in hard mode. And it looks like with the pearl and finding that hammer there, not only is it the best attacking weapon that you can have in swordless there, it was our last piece of Dark World access. So someone325 is now our first entrant into Dark World for this race. So he makes a quick beeline for Hype Cave. Is just finding a whole bunch of money in it. Nothing else at the moment. It does put him over the amount needed for Zora, but nothing really interesting here. So I believe we got a bit of a map check, but I didn't get a good look at where all the red crystals were.
Yeah, we had the red crystal in Eastern, and we have another one in Swamp Palace, and the green pendant's going to be at Thieves Town. And everything else is just crystal.
Very interesting here. So we've that green pendant is always interesting. This isn't all dungeon seed, so you have to take down all the bosses eventually there. But if you have the sneaking suspicion or get told to you by a hint that something is in Sasha's pocket, it's an easy dungeon to take out and go run over there.
It's sometimes easy, and sometimes it's just loaded with guards that just lag the game immensely.
Pretty much now, SAGTG is now heading over to Eastern Palace after he visits Sasha as well, but and he'll be getting his hammer fairly soon. Although he's got a good place in Eastern portion of Eastern to check out first.
325 is going to find the Quake Medallion out of the digging game and save and quit out of there.
I still find it amusing that all the fake Master Swords from the Lost Woods are now a part of the Randomizer and can be just scattered across the entire world. And to answer the question in chat there, I believe someone325 sprite is a Shuppet, one of the ghost type Pokemon from, well, the Pokemon series.
So GTG kind of got blocked by Hinox on his way in, which took 3 of his hearts, which is why he's only in here with 1.5 right now. So he will have to be a little careful going through the rest of EP. Now down to 1.
Sometimes you just get those giant cannonballs hurtling down and you can't get into one of those safe passages or nooks and crannies easily. But thankfully, hearts are relatively plentiful in this dungeon.
Minor little speed tech right there by GTG, being able to use the hook shot to move across to that chest instead of having to walk all the way up and around. Just one of the little things you can do in Randomizer that you can't do in the normal game.
Meanwhile, we've got someone325 in Skullwoods right now, only with 3 hearts left, which, if he's been practicing his inverted, should not be the hardest thing in the world, but still is rather difficult nonetheless.
And now he's got an anti-fairy blocking the door that he can literally do nothing with.
Yeah, he's going to pretty much have to tank it and no other options left to him. So he has to get this chest and get out before he gets turned into Monster Chow.
Nice bit of game knowledge here from 325. He's going to, if he can make it, he's going to get this full magic pot and Wallmaster himself out. I don't know. That may not have been planned, but it was definitely useful.
That would be nice to find, regardless. So we don't have accidental Wallmaster grabs there. We have happy little warps.
We have free rides, is all.
Ooh, and someone325 is going to take on Mothula. So this, he found everything he wanted from Skull Woods, is going to be heading on that way there, but he's only got 1.5 hearts now. This is going to be rather interesting, to say the least.
He might just want this chest. Let's see what happens when he opens this. Yeah, that's one of the items from Skull Woods, and he's going to death warp back to the door.
I find it interesting that Chuppet's bunny form is a cast form. That's always nice to see the similarity between the two Pokemon.
I think GTG is making his way to the Ice Rod again.
I don't believe he managed to pick that up just yet. Actually, neither runner has opted to go and get it yet. Now, and someone325 is going to be heading his way to Mothula's room, but as we are reminded, Mothula may or may not actually be inside. We have a random boss, and they are not a one-to-one either. We could have any random boss, possibly multiple times, as we had already stated.
And the guards leave GTG alone just long enough to get him his Ice Rod.
So now, if we do find Trinex here, GTG will be fully equipped to do so. Oh, and down inside we've got Argus in the bottom of Skullwoods. Now, thankfully, we already have the hook shot, so we have to do a little bit of menu bossing, but it's not the hardest fight in the world. The spikes aren't even moving, so just rinse and repeat, the same strategy you're used to.
Well, the spikes aren't moving, but the floor is, and with the floor moving, everything that you're used to doing gets a little out of whack. And when you've only got 5 hearts green mail, you have very little room for error. 325 is a very, very good player. It'll be really interesting to see if he can pull this off.
Should be fine there, although he has to take down second form with just the hammer. And the fire rod, and he's at most high magic, so he should be able to do it just fine. Just have to watch out for those spikes, as they do true damage, and that they are not reducible by any armor, even if we had any.
Right. Let's see. 4 fire rod shots is enough if he can get them all to hit. GTG is going to get the hint here in Swamp Palace and learn that there are bombs in Swamp Palace. Thank you for the hint.
Some days you get really useful hints, some days you get hints like that. Alright, someone325 is now in the second mode of Argus there. Oh, misses a fire rod shot. He's gotten 2 hits on him so far. That's 3. Does he have enough for 1 more?
He does not. He's going to have to use the hammer, and he's going to get the shot and get the kill. What a great work.
Good job. And he is our makes first blood, has got the first crystal of the game and first boss in general on the game for this run. So that also gives a full refill of health and magic there. The magic is something not to sneeze at.
Yeah, 325 takes the early 1-0 lead. Meanwhile, GTG foregoing Dark World to try and save the old man and see what he can get out of Paradox Cave, if he can get up there.
That's right. That's a full 7 chests he can do if he can make his way over there. I heard all the clinking and clanking of a spike trapped somewhere, and this enemy cave is normally full of bats, and goodness knows what it's full of down here in the Randomizer version of it.
Was that a bone chicken he just hit?
That was a bone chicken he just hit.
Question from chat: where was the ice route? The ice route is at the race game. Both runners tried once. Well, GTD tried 2 times, but he messed up the bomb on the first try. On both runners' first try through the race game, they got ambushed by bush guards, and neither one made it. GTG has gone back for it. 325 has not done so yet.
Thankfully, the ice rod has not been required just yet, but again, this is Randomizer, you never know. But we are checking out the hint tile and the inside of a spectacle rock. Only a heart piece on top, so nothing mirror locked up there just yet. But inside, we are going to have 20 rupees and a potentially interesting hint. A unique item is in Mimic Cave. Now that is interesting. We won't be getting to Mimic Cave for quite some time just yet. 1, because we don't have the Cane of Samaria, and 2, because who wants to do Charter Rock this early? But once we get that and get the mirror to get to Mimic Cave in the first place, then we will, hopefully it's something of use will be there, because a unique item is not necessarily a useful item.
The single arrow counts as a unique item, for example, along with both boomerangs and a few other odds and ends here and there.
Like Cane of Burna, or the Cape, or Magic Powder, or a Mushroom, or some other fetch questy thing.
So GTG going to work his way through the top part of the 2 chests here in Paradox, and then down to the other 5 pair of heart pieces so far. Someone325 gets another bottle, this with another B in it.
Because we always know that we like bees!
VTorp is always with us, somehow.
And a good bomb snipe to get the door open back out of the Paradox Cave. But all we've got inside Paradox Cave so far is trash and the magic powder, and also 300 rupees. He's up to a whopping 1,400 rupees that he won't be able to do all that much with, aside from visit Mr. Scamfish.
GTG is quite rich coming out of that Paradox Cave. I think it had 2 300s for him, along with one of the quote-unquote swords that turned into a green 20.
Ooh, GTG got lucky there. There was a chain chomp inside of that narrow Death Mountain passageway, but it took no interest in him, and he was able to get through without getting chomped to death. Meanwhile, 325 is heading his way through Thieves Town. It's a relatively easy dungeon to take care of, assuming that you can get through the spam of enemies in Randomizer, no less. So if you can make it through and not get ambushed by everything in the world, then it has very low item requirements aside from whatever happens to be in the boss arena.
And there is an Randomizer exclusive trick you can do in Thieves Town, where because the maiden is not there, and the maiden is not there, and you don't have to bomb the ceiling. So because of that, you can walk straight to the boss first, and then check out the rest of the dungeon at your convenience.
That is correct. There, we're not going to. Ooh, we have the Cane of Burna is on Turtle Rock. But that is the Cane of Burna, not the Cane of Samaria, so that is not terribly helpful.
So it looks like basement required here to get the big key in Hera. GTG showing off one of the other Randomizer features that Zarby has put in, where the tiles have random patterns. I bet you expected help, didn't you?
And then we got Troll Face Link on top of that there. Not sure what that tile pattern is supposed to be. Or is it just like a face? I'm not sure.
I think that's a Japanese character that also looks like a smiling face.
All right, nothing terribly interesting in the attic of Thieves Town. Meanwhile, as GTG is got to go back to the front door of Hera just to avoid the long walk. Thankfully, there is a guard with a sharp object able to assist him with that.
Hera showing off what we couldn't see in Eastern Palace, which is those cannon guards that were found in the code of the game, but do not ever show up in the vanilla game.
Oh, that's always an interesting sight to see. That they and whatever were what they could have been and how they could have functioned. Alright, so someone325 clears out the rest of Thieves Town. Unless something is in the big chest, the dungeon itself has not been useful in terms of progression. And yeah, we've already cleared out all the items in there, just the map. So onward to definitely not blind. Actually, it could possibly be blind, but he will be off the normal pattern that most runners are used to. So it can be a bit more difficult than people expect because of that.
Right, he already shows up fully formed, so you can't get behind him. And here he is, sitting and waiting. Although 325 is already sprinting back there to try and start the pattern.
Manages to get behind him and has gotten into phase 2 now, but gets a face tanked head to the face and has to go back to the start. Meanwhile, SAGTG is finding Vitreous at the top of Tower of Hera. So this will be quite the interesting fight because without all the bombs, you're left with the close range hammer, and these eyes will try and swarm you best that they're able to.
So, by my item count in Thieves, that blind is holding something. Could be rupees or bombs for all we know, but he is holding something. Just something 325 will have to keep in mind. Oh man, GTG is really up against the edge there.
Just because you're in Moldom's arena does not mean you have to throw yourself on the edge just out of nostalgia. Although on the other hand, if he gets taken out by an eyeball, then he's gonna have to make that entire trek all the way back up from the bottom of the tower.
And he is going to pass on that, and rightfully so, because now he doesn't have any bombs to help him out.
Yeah, that Vitreous is in a rough spot. That's a small arena, and so it's going to be hard to get through there. And without any bomb strats to help you out, it's going to be a tough fight. So instead, he opts to go next door and check out Spiral Cave. Has to take the long way through that. No boots to use the cool dash strats through. So, but we will get to see what's in there. Get to see the titular purple chest crab, but only $5 for your trek.
So 37 minutes in, both runners are still sitting on green mail and 6 hearts. They have the hammer and they have the fire red, so they have weaponry, but it's not a lot, and survivability is just really, really difficult at this with this current loadout.
That is right. They took out a full 5 heart containers out of the game and 4 pieces of heart, so you're stuck with a maximum of 14 heart health if you can find everything.
It looks like GTG is going to take the vanilla. Oh wow, now that's proper use of your equipment. Ice riding the Hinox to get by it.
Yeah, you only normally need that ice rod for Trinex here, but it definitely has its uses, as we just saw. If you can't take it out the normal way and you don't really feel like going melee with the Hinox with the hammer, just freeze it and be on your merry way.
Now, interestingly, GTG did not go all the way to Zora from there. That was just a potion trip. So he did get a hint in Hera that some arrows are with fishes, which could mean either King Zora or the catfish. So he's probably banking that that's what Zora's going to have, and he's just going to write it off for now.
But the question that I've always been confused on whether that means just generic arrows or the silver arrows specifically. But meanwhile, someone325 is working their way through Desert Palace, which GTG has already pretty much cleared out for the most part. Meanwhile, GTG is going over to what appears to be Skull Woods, and they're going to be swapping dungeons for the time being. All right, looks like 325 is going to be checking out Lumberjack Cave. I believe we've already saw it, but or just going straight up to Death Mountain.
This was probably a Death Mountain trip to try and get more supplies. He's going to be very disappointed with only finding cash. But yeah, we saw earlier from GTG that Lumberjack was a heart piece. So we actually don't have a lot of avenues of progression left with what we know about Skullwoods and Thievestown, and well, Pod might be a decent idea.
There's plenty of items in Pod, and we do have the hammer, but we don't have the bow to finish it. But you can still loot the place while we're over there.
Right, there's still, there's still 13 chests accessible, although I believe 6 or 7 of them require some kind of dark navigation. I think it's 6, but there are chests in there definitely that are probably our next line of progression.
Yeah, we've pretty much cleared out much all of Eastern Palace at this point. We've done most, if not all, of Desert Palace. I don't think we've seen what bosses in there just yet, though.
Right, neither runners made their way back to the Desert Palace boss yet.
There might still be something on Blind, as you were mentioning, but it's going to be a bit of a tricky fight to get to the back of there.
Oh, right. The landmolus room is going to have the compass. I think we did find both items at Desert, and that's why 325 also left Desert once he found both items.
That we want. There's no like long involved trek to get back there once we want.
So as the runners go through each other's tracks, we'd like to remind everybody to follow our very talented runners, someone325 at twitch.tv/someone3255. That, yes, I said that correctly. And SAGTG at twitch.tv/SA_GTG.
Someone in chat brings up a good, interesting point there. SAGTG has found the magic powder and has the hammer, so he can check out the magic bat.
Where did he stumble upon that? When Paradox? Yeah, it was Paradox. That was the only decent thing in it.
Pretty much. Everything else was just cash. A lot of cash, mind you, but still just cash.
Right, and since he's in the dark, he's kind of stuck in the dark world now. It will be a while before he does get the ability, before he gets back to the light world in his route to possibly check that bat.
We don't know that's progression at the present moment, but the options are becoming limited, so... Meanwhile, SAGTG is taking down Argus right now. Going to have to go through the same menu boss shenanigans as someone325 did.
He does have 2 blue potions in his possession, which 325 did not have. So that will be a big help. Even though 325 was able to pull off the fight.
It was a bit close, but yeah, he managed to do it easily enough. Alright, 325 is heading towards the Ether Tablet. Not going to be finding anything there, if I remember correctly. And then probably checking out Hera himself.
Yeah, we're going to see how he approaches the Vitreous up at the top of Hera. See if he has any better luck.
We are going to have to see there. Now, technically, this is out of logic because we do not have the flute or the lamp to get us to Death Mountain in the first place, as far as the logic is concerned. But if it's possible that there might be some goodies involved here.
So GTG is going to even the dungeon score at 1 apiece. .325 having a little more issues with this tile room than he's used to, and yeah, now he's actually going to be stuck. This could end poorly.
Is opting for the shooting gallery option here, and is taking a lot of tiles to the face.
He got out of it. That was actually impressive. That was that was really, really nice considering he got stuck there pretty early in the pattern.
That is correct there. He will not become a runner to die to tile room of all things. He will, however, die to that little mini Helmosaur just to get to the top or bottom doorway entrance to the tower. Fine words, please. I can use them. Really, I can.
So GTG's gonna check out Bumper Cave, see that it's nothing, and work his way into the Village of Outcasts to pick up. Well, there wasn't much here either, but pick up what's here, wake his way into Thieves Town, and see what he can dig out. Question in chat: how did 325 get the full magic under the pot? Sometimes when the game has too much going on, it doesn't show the animation of you picking up the pot, but you did pick up the pot, and the magic appeared, and you were able to get it.
All right, so 325 is going to be heading up towards the Vitreous Moldorm fight, or Moldorm Vitreous fight. No, I'm not sure what the best way to say that would be. But we'll see what options he used. We'll decide to employ to take down the big eyeball monster in the other big eyeball monster's room. And he's opting for hammer strats. Given the low range of the hammer, that's a bit gutsy, but you can definitely do it just fine. And even if you're lucky, get a small AoE effect from the hammer if you happen to catch multiple eyeballs in the same zone.
325 is also positioning himself very well. He gets close, which you can't do in the regular fight because of what's on the floor. He gets close enough to where the eyes aren't actually traveling that far and can't really push him back to the edge of the arena.
Very interesting indeed. Is taking a couple shots and is down to 2 hearts. So we'll see how well he can finish out the rest of the fight. He's still got plenty of eyeballs left, although he's managed to take down a good amount of them.
But the War of Attrition is won by Vitreous again.
We'd really want to have that bow there just for easy ranged access to the eyeballs, but without all that many bombs, that was a tough nut to crack there. And 325 is like, yeah, forget that. I'm just gonna check out the rest of Death Mountain. All right, GTG is checking out Thieves Town. And is he going to go for the boss first or just go straight to the rest of the dungeon? No, he's going to be taking out Vanilla Blind, and we'll see if he can take him down with just 3 hearts and out of pattern. All right, that is phase 1 down here. We've got the spinning blind fireball shooty heads going off now, and now we're playing the game of blind dodgeball. Thankfully, we do have the fire shield, so that it can block a good amount of the shots going your way, and he takes down Blind. So on Blind's corpse there, we have the Titan's mitts.
Hello, progression. That is where the seed wanted us to go, and GTG did that fight with a damageless, along with everything else, and now has really put himself in a good position going forward.
That will give him the lead at the moment there. And with those Titans mitts, that opens up a few options to us that we can now get to the Smith's area. We can now do the Smith's chain. We can now go to, well, if we had the Flippers, we could go to Ice Palace, but we can't right now. If we had a Flute, we could go to Misery Mire. If not that we would want to without the Canis Maria. And we can also get into King's Tomb. I believe those are our major options at the present moment.
.325 making his way to Pyramid didn't find what he saw. Didn't like what he saw there. He looks like he's going to make the pod dip.
That does have a lot of options to him there. That has a total of 6 items, but a lot of them are 5 items. But we'll see how many of them are bow locked or lamp locked. Although I believe through the Dark Maze there are torches to light if you can manage to do so.
Dark Maze? No, Dark Maze. There are no torches. The Rupee Room has torches, and the Turtle Room downstairs has torches. But the maze, you're on your own.
Oh, that is right. Ooh, but speaking of, we have the lamp inside of Hammer Pegs.
GTG's not on his own anymore. That's a great find. And it's mid-locked to go along with everything else.
So the logic is snapping into place here. That gives us logical access to Death Mountain. And now that we have the Titan's mitts, we can get to Dark Eastern Death Mountain as well.
.325 taking a very useful death warp off of those fire shooters. Gets a key in the first chest.
So that will allow him to go into the front door. But now we're going to see if that normally bow locked section is actually bow locked. Because with the Randomizer, we're not going to have Igors inside of that room. The question is, can we get this Mimic to get away from that warp tile? And he manages to do so.
GTG got a little ahead of himself in the routing, and went back to Dark World without having dropped the Smith off. So now he's forced himself to save and quit and try again.
We got a hint tile inside of Palace of Darkness saying that a heart piece requires the shovel, so that eliminates the. I believe that refers to the flute spot instead of the digging game, because the digging game provides its own shovel.
I believe that's absolutely correct. Yes. So GTG working his way to the Smith's, going to drop them off. Going to leave, wait for them to make whatever they're going to make, and get out of the deal 3 bombs.
All right. So someone325 is working his way through Pass of Darkness right now. The Hellway was nice to him in that it had just a lot of random enemies and easy random enemies to boot. But we got SAGTG checking out the magic bat, and inside we have the $5.
You are cursed with slightly heavier pockets. Enjoy. And I do mean slightly.
Ha, fool, don't you know, this is the $5, the blue rupee from from Twilight Princess. Every time you pick up a blue rupee, you'll be cursed with a text box.
Death Warp number 2 for 325, leaving the pit with his complement of 3 keys, and it looks like he's going to make his way to the back. Yes, he is. GTG going to go ahead and go back into Thieves Town and clear out the rest of the chest in here. This was part of that special route that we were talking about earlier. 325 might be stuck. Yeah, 325 just got stuck by that spike roller. It was either fall in the pit and take damage or just get rolled over. So back to the front he goes.
Yeah, he was stuck between a pit and a spiky place. Well, it's a bit accurate, I suppose, that 325 is using a bunch of death warps there, considering that he is using the sprite of a ghost type.
And GTG looks around and says, you know what? I have better things to do than try and work my way through this palace. We're going to try something else.
And that something else apparently is the purple chest. We're going to make the grand tour. Well, not all that many places you can check at the present moment, unless he decides to check out Zor, which no one has been to yet. Oh, but someone325 finds the Cane of Samaria inside of the dark loop of Palace of Darkness.
So Pod is going to have something useful for GTG when he gets around to it. So it's good news for 325 to find that, but he takes another death there. That one he did not want to take, with still the Harmless Helm way and the Dark Maze to check.
So yeah, you have to make that trek all the way back and try and find your way past that inconveniently placed roller once more. So this is technically out of logic to get that Cane of Samaria, because the game wants you to get the lamp from the hammer pegs, which requires the Titan's bits from defeating Blind, who 325 has not even tried, or no, he tried once, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But even so, we are making use of this minor sequence break to check out what's in the rest of the pod. You can use that Cane of Samaria in a few places, so we'll see where he's gonna go in here. We're gonna gets to the Harmless Hellway, but it's not so harmless, and gets swarmed and gets taken down again.
325 continues to walk into this dungeon with 4 hearts. The roller takes 2. Or the roller takes 2. It might take 3. I'm not sure. And he's just not able to work his way through this. It's too big of an ask right now. GTG in the meantime is going to take those mitts, go to Hookshot Cave, go to Super Bunny, and see what we're working with up here.
Decides to check out something else first here. We're going to be going into normally another place you don't really go to in the... Oh, that's right. We're going to be taking this exit up to the top of the mountain. Okay, so someone325 manages to get through the dodgeball room of death of enemies, where SAGTG is checking out what's in Turtle Rock. It requires Quake, which we already have, so why not open the door while we're here? Can't go in just yet, because he has not been to Palace of Darkness, where the Cane of Samaria awaits, but why not knock and say hello while we're here?
That is an incredibly clutch heart piece 325 just found. He's going to be able to make his way through the rest of this maze, probably.
Oh, and we got a troll hint from the beginning of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we need to talk about that hint. That was quite a thing.
Hey, you know that thing you needed to have to open up the front door? I can tell you where that is. Thanks, game. Thanks. Well, someone325 did not find anything interesting in the dark maze, I don't believe, but SAGTG finds the flute inside of a hookshot cave. So not only is that going to give us a major advantage in mobility for SAGTG here, that is going to unlock Mystery Mire so we can see that what's in that area, find out the medallion requirement, pray that it's not ether, and then you can even go in at this point once you, although you'll be wanting to find the King of Samaria first, which he has not as of just yet.
And you get a couple quick checks at the Mire Shed. Flute's going to be very, very useful for GTG soon. We're getting reports from that 325 found the blue male working his way through the dark maze.
That is going to be some very valuable damage reduction, as that's the only male that we're going to be finding in this seed. There is another one in the item pool there, but once you find one, the other one is reduced to just 20 rupees.
So this is actually kind of vanilla-esque progression, even if the locations aren't right. You need the mitts from thieves. Well, the lamp part of it isn't vanilla, but you need the mitts from thieves to get the blue mail and the cane from what's something that's technically mitts locked because the lamp ended up being in hammer pegs. Kind of a weird little chain we got going here.
All right, we've got 325 heading through the race game right now. Going to pick up his ice rod finally. Nothing else that we've found really needs it just yet, but it's going to be another thing to freeze and / stun with, as well as take down any pesky Tranixes we may find in our path.
You called it, boss. Mire is ether.
Ooh, so we cannot enter the mire just yet. We are on the hunt for the lightning medallion. And the mire hut lives up to its name, and he finds some fungus growing in there. A bit unsanitary, but we know someone who's going to fetch a good price for that.
And looks like GT is just going to go ahead and visit them right now. And
you got the flute,
restock on
easy
potions.
access. Speaking of which, 325 is stocked up on a whole bunch of red potions. Doesn't want to have to use those death thorps quite as often. But we only have 20 rupees from behind the mushroom. But we can, as we said, fill up on potions, get rid of our bees, and get even more potions. Oh, but what's this I see? I see 325 heading towards the pedestal. Gonna check what's on it there, and today we just have cash. Unfortunate.
So we gotta do the bends anyway. There's just no big prize at the end of it.
But we've got GTG doing a fake flippers to check out the hobo. Now, as you mentioned earlier, this is a bit difficult because a lot of the enemies are now able to hit them a lot easier, given that they might not be what they normally are. And in fake flippers mode, you are one-hit kill. All right, the hobo just has $20. Gonna ignore that water. Is that a lever? Is that a rope? I'm not sure what those enemies are called.
The little squiggly things. I don't know what they're called either. If there could be any manner of, yeah, there's an Octorox in there. Gigi's gonna have to be careful. There's a lot of projectiles flying around this place.
Well, he navigates them just fine and is going to be checking out the waterfall cave as soon as he manages to get himself out of the swimmable rock. But inside, we're just going to find some bombs and some cash. Meanwhile, 325 has gotten back on track and is now using the Cane of Samaria to take down Blind, misses with that, or gets that Samaria shot there, but should be pretty easy from here on out. And down Blind goes, and he's going to be happy to find that Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, I think we have a report that what we just saw on the Zora ledge was the bow, which you can't get with the normal fake flippering. You need some sort of, you either need the flippers to get the item on the Zora ledge, or you need the boots to perform some fancy water walks and store fake flippers and all sorts of stuff that nobody can do right now since the boots are still MIA.
That is very interesting indeed there. So even with all our fancy glitches like this, we cannot still acquire those flippers. We have to get them legit. Zora has hit them there as he is a totally legit businessman. All right, so as GTG is now heading into Palace of Darkness, he is going to be a bit better equipped for this, although he still only has 3 hearts at the present moment. So we'll see how well he navigates all the rooms of death that we have found so far. And how soon will it be until he makes his way to the back of the palace and gets that Cane of Samaria?
Yeah, 325's route's actually going to work out could work out really, really well here, depending on how far he can get into Turtle Rock with Cane of Samaria in hand.
But instead, he opts to just open the door and just leave it for that. Having this Turtle Rock can be quite difficult, and with only 7 hearts in hand, we may or may not want to do it just yet. But I believe we're heading into into Super Bunny Cave. Nothing there, but I'm not sure if he's checked out Hookshot Cave just yet.
He is not. Hookshot Cave is going to be second on the list, and the Flute's going to make his decision interesting, but I still think he's going to go into Turtle Rock because he knows that the mitts that he got were honestly pretty early in the progression chain. He probably thinks he should have killed that blind the first time. So he might feel behind, and he might feel like a Turtle Rock dive is a good idea, especially because he's got the hint that there's a unique item in Mimic Cave, and he can kill any boss that shows up in Trinex's room.
Unfortunately, though, while we know that there's a unique item inside of Mimic Cave, we can't get to Mimic Cave without the mirror just yet.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That actually might make the dive worse, because then you isolate Mimic Cave. Boy, these are the kind of tough decisions that keep me behind a microphone.
Pretty much. There are plenty of items inside of Turtle Rock there. How far do you decide to dip and when?
Question in chat: can you kill Armos? Yes, you can. Armos takes damage from the hammer. He takes damage from the fire rod. I don't know if he takes damage from the ice rod. Maybe not. But Armos actually takes damage from a lot of sources. The bow is just the most efficient.
He does take a lot of extra damage from the bow. I believe I remember that Cane of Burna actually does decent damage to him.
Right, because the sparkles do fighter sword damage, and fighter sword damage is actually not bad on the Armos.
If I remember correctly there, I seem to remember that the higher level sword that you have, the less damage it does to the Armos Knights.
That's only the transition from fighter to master. It's like a fighter goes. The fighter does 4 HP. The master does 2. The temper does 4, and the gold sword does 8. Which that's the way they programmed it. You know, I have no answers as to why any of that works.
Alright, so SAGTG has picked up his Cane of Samaria. We'll see if, well, we can't get to the back of, into the boss of the dungeon here, but we are going to go as far as we can and then get out.
GTG is in a bit of a pickle here. He's trapped in the doorways, either by a beetle or by that mimic, or by that Igor that won't go away.
So he's given no option but to chug a potion and just tank his way through it. Thankfully, he also has an easier time dealing with the dark maze now that he has that lantern. So, no blind shenanigans in the dark for him.
Yeah, 325 does find Cane of Burna as the hint predicted. And GTG is going to get his blue mail and figure out his next move. It looks like it's going to be Turtle Rock.
The Cane of Samaria is pointing towards there. We can't go to Misery Mire because we have no Ether Medallion. Can't finish off Eastern Palace just yet. I don't think we've even bothered looking at the boss of Eastern Palace since we found all the items inside.
And now that we bring it up, I think he's going to turn in the green pendant from Thieves Town and either then try Eastern, or it'll be interesting where he goes from here.
Well, I've seen plenty of runs that have had something significant inside of Sasha's pockets this entire time. But Yuni's got some glass bottle, so no progression inside the pockets of the old man today.
Progression, no, but never bad to find. Because, you need with hard swordless enemies, you need all the help you can get. 325 just got the best help in the game. He got the bug net.
How will we ever defeat Aghanim without the bug net? How? All right, 325 is making good work through Turtle Rock just so far, but he does not have that lantern from the Hammerpeg's room, so he's going to have to do this maze in the dark, which there could be several things inside that can just kill you without even seeing what they are.
Question in chat: has GTG turned in the mushroom yet? Yes, he has. It was 20 rupees.
Apparently, the selling price for mushrooms is just not what it used to be.
Oh, someone just got lasered off the bridge, and I think he's going to be sent back to the big chest.
That is correct. There, not all the way to the beginning of the dungeon there, but that is a decent amount of ways through. You're gonna have to still do that dark platform room all over again.
Can we talk about that pokey just now?
Well, that's just a dark pokey in the middle of the room, or do you mean the ones that are bouncing on thin air?
Yes, the one. Yes, the one bouncing on there that forced GTG to go find a different path.
Yeah, pokies are just jerks like that. There. And 325 is now back at Laser Bridge. Maybe we'll be taking the safety door this time. Well, he didn't make it to the safety door the first time, but...
Oh, he's gonna get bumped off by whatever that was. That wasn't a mini helmet, was it? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that was a
weirdly colored rope.
Snake with a skull. So here we're going to check out Laser Bridge, going to do our laser skips to get past here. And we are going to find in this chest... I did not catch what that was. But we got the key to move forward. That's always nice.
Alright, so I think so just we got the compass, we got the key, we got a full heart, and something that we just couldn't catch. Flippers! 325 is the flippers.
Oh, did you just see that on the screen?
I saw it as menu just now.
Oh, wow, that is big, because as we know, the bow is locked behind that. That is an amazing find to find.
Yep, he doesn't know that yet. He does know the silvers are locked behind the flippers in the mirror. He does know that. He doesn't know the bow is at Zora Ledge yet.
All right, inside of Trinex's room, we've just got the Landmolus and another full heart. This is a very heart-laden turtle rock. So minus the ether medallion, we have everything that we need, except for the mirror, I believe. We still need the mirror to get into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, mirror for Swamp, ether for Meyer, and a 122 shot, 1 in 22 shot of Boots and GT.
I did see that the other day. It is entirely possible. And we do know that there is a unique item inside of Mimic Cave. We don't know what it is yet, although it's running out of possibilities of what it could be.
GTG actually taking an intentional death there to refill his hearts and work and get back to this little door here. 325 finds the boomerang in Spike Cave. Not exactly what he wanted.
It's another unique item off the list, though. That hint that something's in Mimic Cave is becoming more and more valuable every item that you find.
Question in chat: who picked this? GTG picked this. GTG is sitting at 6 and 5 in the group, and lost to someone325 earlier in the group stage. So he wanted to. So it looks like he wanted to turn everything all the way up and see if someone could survive it.
And he definitely picked the settings for that, let me tell you. So you want to turn up the difficulty all the way? All right, well, here you go.
And GTG with the laugh shows us what reduced 325's health in the dark rails. It was a lot of spike rollers, because it's always spike rollers.
Because who doesn't like spike rollers? All right, another interesting change for dark mode, that is the anti-fairies no longer give you a fairy. They just give you a single heart, and that's about it.
And GTG is going to make it to the safety door. Well, once he throws the bomb in the right place. There it is.
Explosions just aren't what they used to be. They don't blow up nearly as much as they used to. Bombs these days, am I right?
And there's the confirmation of the flippers in the last chest of Laser Bridge.
And GTG knows exactly where to go for that. But 325 might be finding out exactly where to go, where to take those flippers now anyway. He is heading up towards a Hobo, and will probably be checking out all the other flippers locations at this point too. But yeah, and SAGTG is only a few rooms away from the land molas inside of Trinex's room. So that will put him up at 3 bosses to 3 bosses. And with not that much of an item difference, all that someone325 has is just a little bit of lead of time at the present moment.
Question in chat: Did GTD just use Burna on Laser Bridge? I thought it doesn't work in hard mode. Burna works. The invincibility properties of Burna work in Spike Cave and work in Laser Bridge in order for the logic to make sense, and as stated in the spike rooms of Mire and Ice.
All right, SAGTG checks out the land molas with ease, gets his 3rd boss of the game, his 2nd crystal, and that puts him tied up in terms of bosses. But someone325 is now going to find out that the bow is on the Zora ledge, as we had earlier discovered through his competitor's side. So a quick trip up to Mr. Scamfish, and on a quick downward jaunt to pick up that weapon of choice. And indeed, Big Zora only's got 20 bucks. Hey, it's an investment, kid.
That is actually good news, though. That is actually very good news for 325 if he remembers the hint that some arrows are with the fishes. Because that's probably what Catfish has.
I believe it refers to underwater if it's someplace like in one of the flooded rooms of Swamp Palace. But SAGTG is right behind 325, is going to go pick up that bow right away, as finding that flippers is an incredible boon to him. And 325, meanwhile, is heading over to Mire to check out that area. But unfortunately, we already know that it is ether locked, and we can't even get over to Checkerboard Cave without a mirror. So all we can do is get the mushroom from this hut, which is going to nest a whopping 20 bucks.
And really, after that, progression will be equal. Dungeons will be equal. For exploration will be almost equal. 325 has the Smith Chain to do. But other than that, and the 325 is Smith Chain to do, GTG is Spike Cave. But other than that, we actually have a very even race on our hands, despite some of the unfortunate deaths that 325 has taken.
Pretty much. So we'll have to see where this race takes us next. With the recent acquisition of the flippers and no access to Mire just yet, the Palace of Choice, I believe, would be Ice Palace.
bomb upgrade? Yeah, GT is going to show us the upgrade shop, and is going to refill his bombs, get a +5 upgrade for the low price of 200 rupees.
Yep, and that's another change to hard mode as well. The upgrades are now double cost in this mode. SAGTG gets one of those journal hints from the first hint tile here in Ice Palace. There's 3 of them here inside of the Ice Palace, which will makes it sort of a bit of a valuable palace in terms of information. But it's a bit harder because, well, it's Ice Palace. It's long. It's got ice physics. It's dangerous. It's full of goodness knows what an Randomizer. Now, interestingly enough, there, 325 has not done the Smith chain yet there, so he knows now he only needs to do the Smith and can ignore the purple chest.
Question in chat, why didn't they do Hera when they were on Death Mountain? Because what is sitting at the top of Hera is a Vitreous, and neither of them had the bow at the time, and the fight was simply too difficult. So they passed on it, and it will probably be back up there later. Most likely going to combine, if possible, combine it with the GT.
Ooh,
GTG getting banged around a little bit in here.
That is correct there. The Randomizer is not being kind to him in here. If the Ice Palace wasn't hard enough, we got all these hard-hitting enemies just in the way in all these narrow corridors.
GTG going to be the first to check out our second hint tile here. The Tower of Hera Big Key needs fire in the tower. Thanks.
That is a very interesting hint, I suppose. So even in terms of progression in this dungeon, they're about a room and a half away from each other. Half a room at that. We've just got the 325 entering the conveyor room as soon as GTG is leaving it. So this is a very quick or close dungeon clear between the two. It may come down to who can actually clear the boss if it ends up being something a bit difficult.
GTG in a little bit of trouble here, and 325 is not going to bother with the bomb jump. He's just going to progress.
He's down to 1 heart. He can't survive the bomb jump.
Now 325 though was on 6.5, and he decided to walk through anyway.
And in this room here, we've got guards on ice. And meanwhile, SAGTG is running across the same room and saying, "Stop! Hammer time!" Or, no, actually, burner time. It was 325 who used a hammer.
Yeah, burner time, because at least the sparkles do damage. You may not get the protection, but you still get the damage output.
Oh, and we are unable to see that hint there, so hopefully GTG checks it, otherwise we'll have the mystery knowledge.
Yeah, when the runners have more knowledge than the commentators, it kind of makes it changes our job a little bit.
All right, so nothing interesting from the room with the 2 Freezors, and 325 is taking the long way through. And in the iced tea room, we are going to have the compass. So I don't think we've found everything just yet.
Someone's going to get, or 325 is going to get the chest here out of this U room, and it's just a small key. We're really short on items in this dungeon. And GTG's going to find the small key. So we have an item. We must have an item on the big chest, and we must have an item at in Coldstairs room.
Interesting indeed. So, what are we going to find and where? Ooh, but these BMOs on ice are hard to dodge. Good use of the hook shot there, but that trap spike is not being helpful.
And GTG is going to burn his last blue potion here, trying to get through this BMOs and spikes and bumpers and just a unique item is in Turtle Rock. Thanks, game.
Yes, we know that the Flippers and the Bugnet are both in Turtle Rock. That's how we got here. Journal entries.
Flippers, Bugnet, Burna, the whole 9 yards.
All right, let's see how 325 makes his way through this ice maze gauntlet of death. He's down to 1.5 hearts, and he's just going to go out the other way there. I'm not sure if he's decided to go around backwards or not.
Well, 325's already done everything on the top right side, so this is just his next step, where he does the big chest for 20, which is 20 rupees, goes back around to Ice Tea, and then all the way down. No, I think he's just going to go all the way down the boss.
All right, looks like he picked up some, I believe he picked up some fairies in there. I wasn't able to see. But we are going to see what's in Coldstairs room very shortly, though. We're right up into the lead up into the room. And inside, we are going to have, if the game will be so kind to show us here, we've got the Helmasaur King inside of the bottom. So, nothing special with this fight. There's no special ice physics in this room. No spikes on the side. So, it's pretty much your standard fight. Just with a nice pink skin to the mask.
And 8 wooden arrows to the forehead ought to take care of this fight. And there he goes. 325 is going to take Helmasaur out and get... Wait, Ether.
Ooh,
there's
so
our Mire access.
That is indeed our Mire access there. So that points a great shining arrow to go to Mire now. So, outside of just some random overworld checks, as soon as we find that mirror and those silver arrows, excuse me, we would be most of the way in go mode unless there's something inside, unless the Ganon's Tower is boot locked.
Question in chat, how does Coldstairs work with Swordless Randomizer? Yes, it can be in a room without the Bombo spot because you would then need the Fire Rod.
All right, so 325 is going to be the first one to enter Mire there. We've got SAGTG right on his heels. I would be very surprised if he goes anywhere else.
All right, and silver arrows are known. Silver arrows are mirror locked on Hylia Island. So once we have the mirror, we are going to have all the pieces. Question in chat, Desert Palace could be boot locked. It could, but it's not. We got the book very early and both have already investigated TP.
All right, looks like SAGTG is making a short trip to the upgrade island here. He's going to spend his considerable rupees to get some more arrows. But given that this is Randomizer and anything could be hiding down inside a mire, we're going to have SAGTG picking up some potions just in case there are shenanigans lying within. Now, one interesting thing is that someone325 has not visited the hammer pegs and does not have the lamp just yet, so he is going to have to do that dark room. I'm sure he can do it, but it is still a bit difficult, and with Randomizer, you don't know exactly what's inside.
So GTG as fully geared up as you could hope to be, having purchased a green and a blue potion with the rest of his funds, is going to work his way into Mire and see what's here.
Now we do know there's a unique item in Mimic Cave. It can't be the mirror, otherwise it'd be locked behind itself. It could be something leading. Well, no, it can't be. All we need is the silver arrows, which are behind the mirror anyway. So looks like the Mimic Cave hint is just another red herring,
or possibly the red boomerang.
Although that does bring up the interesting question: what are those fishes inside of Lake Hylia? Are they herrings? Can we have them literally be? Can we get them with the boomerang? Can we get red herrings with our red herring boomerang? Oh, that chomp is in a nasty spot there. Thankfully, he is looking the other way and doesn't decide to take a bite out of GTG. But spite or chomps in narrow hallways is never fun.
No, that one was particularly well placed, guarding that very important intersection to go upstairs. GTG gonna find 50 rupees in the bridge chest. 325, not even going to bother with the hint. He knows the mirror is all he needs. And he's going to find the compass here in the cutscene chest.
Now, that hint could have possibly told him where the mirror was, but I don't believe we have any information on it just yet.
Yeah, we are completely in the dark on the mirror. We do know it can't be at the Pyramid Ferry because Swamp House is a 5/6 crystal.
It also can't be on any mirror lock location for obvious reasons. So, if it's not here in Mire, where could it possibly be? I don't believe we've had anyone check out King's Tomb just yet.
Okay. Oh, it's here. Wait, 325 lagged through getting the mirror. Yeah, no, we're in go mode.
All right, we are in go mode, and we are neck and neck as well.
And GTG is going to skip the cutscene chest and going to find the big key up here, so he's going to close this gap a little bit more. So we are in for a lot of dungeons, a lot of bosses in a row, and hopefully a very, very tight finish, as both runners are tied at 4 dungeons apiece, and they've got to kill 12, and they got to get through all 12.
That's right. We have to get all 12 bosses here. Now, this is going to be pretty fun because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bosses plus Aga 1 to take down in go mode. So this is going to really come down to execution. And hopefully for someone325 in the dark, the execution doesn't get him executed.
See, 325 working his way through the second dark room, able to hit the switch up there. I think he's in the third one now. Gonna blow open this wall to get the switch on the other side of this. GTG in the light, showing us where all the stuff actually is. a reminder that Desert Palace is not boot locked, so we're not worried about that. So the only boot lock we're worried about is Gans Tower.
And someone325 makes it through the Dark Worlds intact. Excellent job. I know that is very tricky just by itself. So we are going to be heading up to see what lies in wait in Vitreous's chamber. And we have another Helmosaur King, Attack of the Mask.
Yeah, this is the bad room to fight him in. You do have to be careful with the acid. The goop in Vitreous's room still does damage, so you can't actually walk that high into the room. It looks like 325 is going to take care of this quite efficiently. GTG following shortly behind, and we're in for a great race to the finish here.
All right, so we've got 5 dungeons plus Aga 1 to go here. What would you say is the optimal routing to take them down in?
Well, you mirror the desert from here, so that's step 1. You mirror the desert from here. Go to Pod Eastern. Go Herod. Well, wait. Hold on. Mirror the desert. Swamp. Pod Eastern. Hera GT Aga 1. And then and then because once you're done with Aga 1, you end up at the top of the pyramid, fall in, beat Ganon, win the game.
That would be a very efficient route indeed. Of course, we have to pick up those silver arrows from the Lake Island there. I believe both of our runners know where they are. They should have both passed them in their travels at some point.
Yeah, Chad making a good point. You better get those silvers after Swamp.
If you don't, you're going to be in for a bad time.
Question in chat, are they synced? Very much so. Yeah, we are tied at 5 in a race to 12 dungeons. We are in go mode. Everybody knows where everything is. Silver arrows are on Lake Hylia Island. Both know that. They're only usable in the Ganon fight, so they can pick them up whenever they want. And it's gonna be. And we're just in for a very, very long race to the finish.
That is correct, and this is on top of it being an Randomizer hard mode swordless seed. And inside of Landmolus's room, we have target practice. You're going to be using these bows to take down the Armos Knights. Good thing that we found them earlier. Good thing we didn't go to this boss earlier. And just as someone325 is finishing off the Armos Knights, SAGTG is finishing up there, so we are going to be still neck and neck coming out of this dungeon.
So 325 steps out of the dungeon at 1:44:11, and we're going to time GTG when he steps out of the dungeon. And 325 is going to use his last $400, it looks like, on bomb and arrow refills. One, the other, both.
Just arrows today. And while he's here, he can just go to the Dark World, go over to the Kylie item, and pick up the silvers before you have a chance to forget.
Well, you can't do it from the Ice Palace portal. Just because,
that's right.
Just because you're locked in there, and GTG is going to go to Swamp. And 325 is gonna 325 now fully stocked and down to $0 is going to also follow in GTG's footsteps to Swamp.
Okay, now how often do you see someone exactly at $0, except at the very beginning of the game? You have to have the exact amount to buy what you need, and not a rupee more. All right, so we've got SAGTG being the first person into the Swamp Palace here. We'll see if 325's potion restocks are going to come in favor of him.
Yeah, I want to say GTG restocked earlier and still has the blue and the green in his possession, and couldn't do any more because he was down, because he was low on rupees at the time, because he spent the rest getting an arrow upgrade. So it was arrow upgrade, green potion, blue potion, and he should still have all of those.
That is correct. So, in terms of just dungeons, GTG is taking the lead by a small margin, but we still have a long ways to go.
And 325 is checking this chest over here on the side. Not entirely sure what he wanted there. If he keeps checking chests in this dungeon, we might have made a mistake on what his actual knowledge is.
It's entirely possible that he never actually saw what was on Lake Hylia Island earlier.
It was also 90 minutes ago when he made that when you make that little dive off the ledge and then go into the shop. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And GTG also checking a couple of chests down here. Probably, I wonder what these guys are looking for. Maybe just more hearts.
They
never
could
have
be
enough
looking
hearts.
for boots just in case. Because if we do roll that 4.5% chance that the big key in Ganon's Tower is on the torch, if you just happen to run across them in your normal dungeons, so much the better. But you don't want to go terribly out of your way for it either.
Right, and you would hate to lose the race because boots were in the way and you just didn't get them. So it's, so checking the chests that are here, totally logical. GTG is going to find Mothula, who is a piece of cake outside his room, and is going to get 4 hammer thwacks to the back of the head and take the 7-6 lead.
Someone325 is not far behind them, but yes, Mothula is indeed a chump outside of his boss room without any conveyors or spikes to hinder you. All right, we've got GTG making a beeline for Lake Hylia. He's going to pick up those silver arrows right quick.
Yeah, mirror to silvers, flute to 5, and continue on your merry way. Oh, thank goodness that spike didn't move. I'm like, really? You're gonna put that there in their way?
All right, and GTG picks up his silver arrows while someone325 is now finally taking down Mothula, squashing the bug. And so now we've got the Eastern Palace Paw dual boss clearing.
Question, Chad, has this been linear? I wouldn't say so. Although you haven't really had a lot of options. So I guess you could probably say it's been linear. Although 325 got the cane first, but he got out of logic. GTG has followed the path the whole time.
And someone325 and picked up the silver arrows as well. So yes, he did know where they were. So we are glad to see that. And he'll be right on SAGTG's heels. I'm assuming, well, they've pretty much cleaned this place out as far as chest locations go. Although there is that one on the ledge right there. I'm not sure if someone325 has already checked that one or not, or if they just have all the chests accounted for.
Considering with GTG down to 1 key, I'm pretty sure that's just key for a key. 325 might have gotten it earlier in his travels, but there's nothing to worry about in there.
Yeah, good key counting will save you a lot of time if you can know what it's in a chest before you even open it.
And GTG showing off the one technical use of the bow, shooting the statue in the eye, moving the wall, and heading downstairs.
Now, will we see our third Helmasaur King for the seed? All right, we'll be finding out shortly. All you need to do is make it through the turtle room here. A piece of cake with the hammer in tow.
Although it's not turtles. Oh, geez. 325 is going to love this. It's just shadows, which are much easier than what could have been in here.
Yep, that is correct. And he doesn't have the lamp, but he can just light the torches with the fire rod, so it shouldn't be that hard of a room for him. And inside Helmasaur King's room here, we have another Vitreous! But thankfully, this time we came prepared.
Well, we came a little prepared. We don't have enough arrows to actually take the thing out. We're gonna have to do some bombs and some hammer and a few other things.
That is correct there. Silver arrows only work in the Ganon fight in hard mode and nowhere else, so Vitreous becomes a lot easier with the arrows, but you're still going to have to take out the big old eyeball the normal way. No one-shot kills for you.
GTG down 2 hearts here. He's gonna go ahead and burn that blue.
Better pop it, don't drop it, as they always say.
The 325 has not lit up this room, so I don't think he... I think he just lost track of where he was in the room when he was looking for the blocks. GTG is going to get the kill and take out dungeon number 8.
And just a reverse situation as before, GTG is exiting the boss while someone325 is just now entering it. So we still got a close race on our hands, even though that one chopping trip did cost him a little bit of time.
Someone down, or 325 down to 4 hearts here. Still working on 2 of these eyeballs. Can't really get behind Vitreous because the spikes are still there. Oh, and Vitreous just hit him hard for 3 hearts. Gonna pop that red and keep going.
Meanwhile, those little 4 eyeballs are just watching the fight go. It's like, yeah, Vitty, you can do it. You can take him on. Your little personal cheerleaders. Now, one question here. Is anyone going to take a small trip? No, SAGT does not take that dip into the fairy restock room because fairies only restore half or not very much health at all in hard mode.
Well, fairy restoration still works. You can't catch it with the bug net or anything, but if you want to say fairy restoration still works as intended. Pretty easy room here with just a little mini Helmosaur, the hook shots. It's still the bottom button. Just trying to get this Mimic out of his way. And he's gonna make it through this room. GTG making great use of the hook shot here to pretty much kill everything he comes across.
We're getting some decently weak enemies right here, and get a fairy out of it. So another free heart restock is never a bad idea. And inside of the Armor Knight's room, we've got Blind, Electric Boogaloo.
I kind of like this blind with kind of the green reflection, the bluish green reflection shining off. It's a pretty cool look.
Oh, that's a nice strategy, using the Cane of Samaria as sort of like a mine. Hey, you want to come back up from your fake death? Here, have a block explode on your face.
And there's the 9th hit. GTG's gonna take care of blind, get the compass, and get crystal number 7.
Alright, so that's the Eastern Pod mirror swapping done. So now we've got just Tower of Hera, Aga 1, and then it's time for the Big Pig. After a quick sightseeing tour to Kakariko, just because we can.
The bird wanted a home flight.
All right.
GTG visibly frustrated that he can't refill as much as he would like. He's only got 2 green potions.
That could come in useful, but it's not what he wanted there. With that Vitreous fight being a tough nut to crack, especially without the Silver Arrows working in that boss room, we're going to have to take this down the long way.
So, question in chat about the routing and should GTG have done Castle Tower? The idea is because you beat Ganon's Tower. When you beat Ganon's Tower, you end up at the top of the pyramid. So you just mirror from the top of the pyramid to the start of Aghanim's Tower, and you go up. You beat Aga 1. You show up back at the top of the pyramid, and then you just fall right in the Ganon fight. So that's why the all dungeons routing is usually Aga 2, Aga 1, Ganon. So yes, they're misnumbered, but you know, it's a business.
Which does lead to the interesting situation of you beating Aga 2. You go, he demands a rematch, and then he uses less moves than before.
Yeah, GTG's little world tour there did put 325 back out front by just the narrowest of margins, maybe 10 seconds at this point.
Hardly even that. Alright, looks like they're actually going to GT first and leaving Hera for last.
Now there's the mirror from 325. Mirror's out for GTG. Yeah, Everything working as intended.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was pondering why they were going the long way up the tower, but yeah, having that mirror spot to instantly warp back to the Dark World, and go straight up to Ganon's tower will be proved very useful.
So hard mode at work, we are still on 9 hearts. This, we know it's a Vitreous up here. Both runners have a full complement of 35 arrows. They can, they can use. GTG has a bomb upgrade, so he's got 15 bombs. It's still a tough fight.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough fight there, and you don't really want to have to use the hammer in close quarters with a swarm of eyeballs if you can, and with no really other effective way to take the eyeballs down easily, outside of just arrows themselves. It's a draining fight in terms of resources. All right, so we've got GTG opting for bomb strats, whereas 325 is playing archer and taking and hitting the bullseye. So,
Oh, that could have been really bad if GTG had gotten like bumped into the center hole. 325's got all the eyes down already. And he's got 8 arrows for the big eyeball, and that's going to be Vitreous down. And dungeon number 10. Question chat, are the eyes not vulnerable to any of the medallions? They are not. And even if they were, this is swordless and we can't use them.
all right, GTG is taking down Vitreous as well. And someone 325 is now inside of Ganon's tower. So, inside chest number 1, we have a small key. Inside of chest number 2, we have some explosions.
And we didn't even get to do the spiel for the game. That's the one little caveat about having Hera last. It is the world's shortest guessing game.
Pretty much. And we've got 325 actually opting for a full right side clear, as opposed to the more popular first 2 torches mirror back and then do full left side. And it looks like GTG is going to follow him right away. So, chest number 3, we've got a compass. Chest number 4, we've got a blue rupee. Chest number 5, we've got a heart container. And chest number 6, I believe it's just $20.
And will 325 mirror out here at the key, or will he keep going? He's thinking about it. He's going to mirror out here at the key. So we're going to get to see if this is one of those seeds.
We've got the single arrow on top of the torch. So chest number 7 is the single arrow. So no boots lock seed today. We missed that chance.
Yep. Bullet dodge for both runners. That's a big sigh of relief, even if we are still very, very late into the seed. 2 hours, 5 minutes in, and both working their way up Ganon's tower, or around Ganon's tower to find the key, and hopefully up soon.
8, 9, 10, and 11 are apparently trash because we have 325 still going. Falls off the platform, so it has to re-clear the room inside of here and try his luck again at the hook shot. Well, we find the magic cape, not that that's really all that useful to us at this point. So let's see. That was. We got the red meringue inside of the fire bar room, which no longer contains a fire rod.
Starting to think the item in Mimic Cave is the shovel. That's kind of. Very smooth
Alright.
hookshot and boomerang combo strat from 325 to work through that room.
Alright, I've lost count. What number are we on there? We've got the. I think we're on like 13 or so.
Yeah, it's 13, so random room is 14 through 17. Both runners, despite using up all their arrows on Vitreous, are back to full at 35 as well. So that could help depending on what we find here.
And there's
the big key in 15.
and the shovel. SAGTG opens all the chests in the room just in case the boots were in one of them and they could just speed up the stairs, but no such luck today. With pretty much the only other unique item is that I'm guessing that the boots are in Mimic Cave. That would have been... there's no way you can really route that in efficiently, unfortunately.
No, Flippers, yeah. Flippers and Turtle Rock to get Ether and Ice, to get Mirror and Mimic, to get Mirror and Mire to go back to Mimic to get the boots? No.
Yeah, it'd spend way much more time than it's worth.
Although, interestingly, in 325's mind, it could still be the lamp.
Yeah, he never made it all to and finished the
Actually,
smith
no, it can't be the lamp for him because Canis and Mario was in a dark room now. So yeah, he's got it isolated down to the boots too.
Alright, so someone325 is about a room or two ahead of SAGTG at this moment. So it's still a close race despite everything so far.
The enemies here in the gauntlet being pretty friendly just some mini Helmas, some mini Moldorms. Nothing a good hookshot can't take care of.
Hookshot, it kills what's bugging ya.
.325 is down to 3.5 hearts though. The ice physics are kind of getting the better of him here in this room.
He is still stocked up on potions, and they should be very practiced at their Ganon fights. So this is not the end of the world if you have to burn a potion or two, but it's still not something you want to have to do if you can avoid it.
Oh boy, this is Trinex. This is going to be a very, very important fight for 325.
And suddenly SAGTG is very glad he picked up those green potions once he gets in there.
So because the ice that Trinex's ice head would normally shoot, it creates way more problems, at least right now, for the coating than it's worth. So it doesn't actually spit ice on the floor. That is one good thing. But other than that, it's still Trinex. It's still a ton of work. And that short corner by the torch got the better of 325. He's down to half a heart. He's going to have to burn that red potion.
Burning a potion on Trinex, I'm not going to blame someone. And Trinex with the fire shooter in the way, that's just adding insult to injury. But someone325 takes him down just fine, and SAGTG is now taking off the fire head and is now going to go be melting the ice head. Good dodge on the main head's attack. stuns the head and is now takes a body shot from Trinex himself.
And GTG might get bit by that by that really quick turn the same way 325 did. And if so, he doesn't have anything to recover with, so he's going to be in deep trouble.
All right, let's see how this goes. Is opting to go for the other side, or no, is making his way over.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was entirely. Oh boy, he's gonna die! Oh no!
Oh no, that is so unfortunate. Oh, that's a reclimb of the entire gauntlet. Oh, that's going to put him so far behind.
It's gonna take a mistake from 325 now. It's gonna take something pretty problematic. Although running out of magic in that torch room could have been the mistake. But it is an uphill climb in literally and figuratively here for GTG now.
We do have one more unknown boss at the top of the tower, though. Well, not the very top, but close to it there. We don't know who Trolldorm has subbed in to take his spot today.
This is not a fun fight here. It's a very narrow arena. You do not have a lot of room to operate, and Helmasaur just crowds you completely.
Pretty much. It was like, hey, I heard you like narrow boss fight arenas. Have fun!
And Helmasaur fortunately sits still long enough for 325 to pump the 8 arrows into the jewel in the middle of his head and work his way up to Aghanim number 2.
Now, someone325 does have only 4 hearts and has to make his way through this the room of annoyingly shaped corridor movement enforcing things.
And Agatu is no picnic without a sword. Honestly, there are a lot of runners that like to use net dashes because it creates a more consistent strike. But without the boots, that's not a tool in his arsenal either.
Ooh, down to 1 heart already. It's got to pop that potion. And if these Agas get desynced there, that's gonna make those hitbox and hit swing for the Bugnet that more difficult.
He's gonna finish with a triple. Oh boy, Aghanim 2 right in line to take all 3 shots, and 325 is going to have to remember that this is all dungeons and that his job is not finished yet.
A nice triple with the net as well to boot. Ugh.
All right, the plan is simple. Oh, no. 325? Buddy?
That's going to cost him a little bit there, but it's not going to cost him enough time for SAGTD to catch up there. One wonders if you just accidentally walked into the pit just out of sheer muscle memory.
Right, 215 into the seed. Yeah, that the muscle memory and the instinct is real at this point. But yeah, he definitely, well, Ganon essentially told him, "Oh yeah, you got to do this."
And SAGTG is down to 1.5 hearts against the Trinex refight part 2. Meanwhile, as someone 325 is now making his way through the dark maze of Agate Tower. It's a hard maze to do, but it's definitely doable.
It's doable normally when you know what's in here. This is Randomizer. The rules change. And he's down to 3 hearts already and trying to Verna his way through. Man, if the difference in this race is the lamp at Hammer Pegs of all things. And someone's leaving.
He can't get through. He doesn't know how to get through. He has to go find that lamp unless he wants to do that maze in the dark. If this run comes down, like you were saying, to the lamp of all things, oh, but where's he going to go look for it? Is he going to go check Mimic Cave? No, he would have warped there.
Well, no, he can logic. He should be able to logically remove Mimic Cave. He's going to do the Smith chain.
And he already knows from the hint that the purple chest has nothing, so it's got to be the Smiths or the Hammer Pegs. He's got it nailed down to those two. No pun intended.
And the other 5/6 crystal was Eastern Palace, so he knows it. So if he's keeping the pieces in line, he should know the Pyramid Fairy can't have it. So yeah, if he's kept the pieces in line, this is pretty much the only thing that's in logic that can logically have the lamp.
SAGTG manages to pick up a whole heart container from one of the chests up in the gauntlet, so that's going to help him a little bit. Gets his 11th heart. And a magic refill at the boot. But 325 is inside the Hammer Peg rooms there. He is going to get his lamp. It's straight back up to Agate Tower for him. And he still has enough of a lead that he can get back to Tower before SAGTG even finishes the rest of the Tower climb.
Question in chat, could Swamp have had the lamp? Swamp could not have had the lamp because the mirror required to get in was locked by the Ether Medallion, which was in Trinex's room, and Trinex's room is lamp locked. So no, Swamp could not have had the lamp. .325 down to 2.5 hearts. So even though he does have the lamp now and he knows where he's going, he is not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination.
That is correct. There, we've got all of the castle tower to do with unknown enemies in here. There could be Lionels in here, as far as we know. We haven't been able to see what's in that dark maze. But SAGTG is finishing out Aga 2 as we speak, and should
that's
a couple more shots.
Lord, look at that chain chomp, and he's gonna die.
Oh no, that's gonna reset him back to the bottom of the tower. This is neck and neck once again.
Oh, GTG's on 1.5 hearts. He's but he gets the last hit. The race just keeps swinging back and forth. 325 still has the lead, but by the slimmest of margins.
It's going to come down to who can survive that chomp of death inside of that maze. That's very hard to dodge.
GTG is sitting on 194 rupees. What will he, or 184 rupees? But he's gonna brave this. He has no idea what he's in for here.
But meanwhile, someone325 has made it through the dark room of death, but we still got a few more charms and another chain chomp to deal with. Oh, and it knocks him down the pit.
Oh,
and
it bites him and knocks him down, which is all of the hearts that he has. And 325 is back to the start of the dungeon. Oh my, what a race!
That chain chomp knocked him down to half a heart, and then the pit fall damage did the rest.
Meanwhile, GTG lighting the torches, he learns the truth of this place. The nasty, painful truth of this place. Man, what an amazing race we got here. 325 back in the dark maze. I think he's going to pass him again. Yep, door's open and he's on his way.
GTG making use of that magic cloak to get past Mr. Bow Wow there.
Exactly. The cape retains invincibility. It just drains magic at double the speed. But it does still work as intended.
Was that like 2 or 3 chain chomps in that one room?
I don't even want to know personally.
That's 2 of them. There are 2 chain chomps in the dark torch room here.
He's gonna work his way around though. He's gonna get through it.
Oh, but now he's got to deal with some Hinox guards with only 1 heart.
Oh man, it's the clutch meter on GTG is it's going to be through the roof if he can pull this off. And he still has to do AGA 1, which again, without the sword, is not free by any means.
Oh, that's a good call with the ice rod there. Being able to freeze that Hinox and take him down as long as you don't get blown up by any of the bombs.
And he's gonna just collect whatever he can in here. There may be a couple of hearts. I think he's already. Yeah, he's up to 3 hearts now. Someone325 working on Aghanim 1. 2 hours, 24 minutes in, and not a dot done on either side.
How is Aga Tower harder than Ganon's Tower there when you got Randomizer and have spent all of your rupees and have no healing left? So with limited healing there, does the Aga 1 fight refill your hearts as well? I think it does, question mark?
I want to say that it does.
Keep in mind there that this is hard mode. We're only sitting about at like 10, 11 hearts apiece. And Ganon does hit like a truck. We only have blue mail. But once again, someone325 is just finishing the boss as soon as SAGTG is finishing it. This is going to come right down to the Ganon fight once they get out of it.
325 is going to drop into the Ganon fight at 225.40. Now Ganon's going to go to the speech. We're not meant to have midnight snacks. Why is there a light in the fridge? I don't think this is the time for existential questions, my friend, but you do you.
But keep in mind there, this is swordless Ganon as well, which is a bit tougher than regular Ganon fights. But someone325 is already on phase 2, should be hitting phase 3 pretty shortly. But the fire bats have done a number on him. He's only down to 4 hearts right now.
Yeah, Ganon just is not getting himself into a cooperative position.
Oh no, now he's only down to 1 heart. He's going to have to rely on hookshot strats to dodge those fireballs.
And GTG is going to fall in 11 hearts, full magic. He has a green. He should still have a green potion in his pocket, at least.
The potion will come in handy for relighting those torches there, but that's not going to refill your health. Thankfully, someone325 has made it out of phase 2 and is now in phase 3, but there are still the occasional fire bats and Ganon hugs to watch out for.
And 325 is on to phase 4. He's going to sprint for that torch and fire it off. Get the glitch.
Torch glitch acquired there. He no longer has to relight that left torch. That's 1 arrow into Ganon's forehead. Dodges the fire bat. Ooh,
another smooth dodge. And he's going to work. Ganon works his way down here. And 1 more arrow.
Oh, SAGTG's got Ganon locked into a corner. That's perfect.
But Ganon is down on 325's side. The pig is exploding.
We have bacon, everybody.
And 325 is going to cross the bridge and take this race in a time of 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 5 seconds. What an amazing contest.
That was so back and forth the entire time there. The tower climbs there, the shopping trips, the entire thing. And SAGTG is going to be right in behind him fairly shortly, unless something disastrous happens.
Yeah, here's GTG getting the 4th hit, getting the double arrow on that one. Well, no, that wasn't the 4th hit. Here comes the 4th arrow, right to the side again, and he's going to step to the bridge, wait for the bridge, and see in SRL that it was all for naught, and 325 has stolen it from out from under him. What an amazing contest. What a race.
That was indeed a great race. The Triforce says, "I'm sorry." Well, SAGTG has picked the the settings for the seed. You're not the one who needs to be sorry, so to speak.
You asked for it, buddy. And boy, did we get a show out of it. That was great. That was just great.
An amazing run by both of our runners here. Let's see if we can't get any of them in here to really relive that chaos. Hello, and we are joined by both SAGTG and someone325. Great game, both of y'all. Do you have, well, I guess you know how close it is, but that was an amazing back and forth final push to the end there. How are y'all feeling?
Yeah, pretty exhausted. It was a pretty long game. Didn't think it was going to be that close, but it was.
I'm currently, well, not currently, because I'm doing the interview now, but while waiting for the interview, I was definitely checking under my couch to make sure there were no chain chomps hiding under there.
Yeah, but yeah, those, oh man, Agate Tower, to go on top of everything, of all the other craziness of working through the Vitreous in that Hera, the Helmasaur at the top of Ganon's Tower. This, he just showed no mercy on you guys.
Right. I didn't think I needed the lamp until I went to Aga Tower and found that.
Yeah. Talk. Talk. You were able. It seemed like you were able very quickly to figure out where the lamp was, or at least logically deduce where the lamp was. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, it was either hammer pegs that Smith or catfish, but then there was a hint that said the 10 arrows were on fishes, and Zora had 20 rupees. So it couldn't have been catfish.
Yeah.
Was that the Thieves Town hint?
Might have been that.
I know there. I know I never saw the Thieves Town hint because I totally skipped the back of Thieves Town. I tried to go back for it, but then I took a death and I just decided I'm leaving. That particular decision was actually really interesting for me to have weighing over me for a while, but then when nothing turned out to be mirror locked and I started to feel like just about the only thing I was worried was going to be in there was the mirror or maybe the boots. Eventually it just felt like, nah, I'm not going to have to go back there.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, shoot, now I'm trying to remember. I believe GTG, were you the one who went to blind, the refight of blind early in Thieves Town?
Yes, I decided to check the boss first just to see what it was, and I figured having that knowledge would be helpful. And since I was kind of at lower health at the moment, if it was a boss that I wasn't too comfortable with, I could get a little bit of a heal by just dying on purpose immediately if it seemed like it was going to be really bad. But then it was blind. I got it done, and then I started switching my route around a little bit. Decided to check it after turning in the Smith, and then I accidentally died on the way back in, so I just left.
Right. You hugged the skeleton head pretty early downstairs. And just said, I got a lot of better things to do, and you can go take care of those. But yeah, GTG, you had the mitts probably a good 20 minutes or so before 325 did, which is why 325 never got to the lamp until as late as you could do it. So
Yeah, that was a easy pickup, but I just forgot about it at the time because I had a lot more things to do. The one fortunate thing I did was sequence break into Pod to get the Kinesis Mario so I can quickly go back on Logic after finding my mitts. Or like quickly go up Death Mountain and find my stuff in Turtle Rock.
Right, the Turtle Rock dive made a ton of sense. Having the cane from Pod is like, oh well, here we go. This is wide open. This is another 5 items. Let's go take care of it. And you got the Mimic Cave hint at one point that there was a unique item, but I don't think that worried you guys very much when it turned out that just the mirror was essentially left for you to find anyway.
Yeah, not at all. The worst case scenario I was thinking was maybe boots are there and maybe GT Torch has that and I have to go back into Turtle Rock, but I figured the way the logic of the seed is played out, anyone would have to, so not a big deal if it comes to that.
Yeah, and I was also kind of betting that mirror was in Turtle Rock so I could pick that up there. But it wasn't.
Yeah, so were you guys able to watch back the last 5-10 minutes of just how chaotic the finish of this thing ended up being?
I opened that up a couple minutes after I finished, and that was really wild to watch. I really was not. I knew the result already, and I was sitting there kind of like, who's gonna win?
I mean, it was what 45 minutes of just because you both hit go mode with 8 dungeons to go. With the 6 dungeons and the 2 towers, so it's like, so we're just gonna ping pong this thing for another 40 minutes and just see who shakes out in the end.
A lot of the time, one of you was just exiting a boss as the other one was entering that, so it was just nail biter the entire way.
Dang, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and watching that one because I feel like the Try Next Death aside, that my execution was really solid. For me to not have won that, I'm expecting to see some really great execution on both sides and just have this back and forth race of great fights.
All right, so yeah, that was a great race by both of you all. Again, everyone, follow our runners. These guys have given us great entertainment for this amazing run through this insane seed with all kinds of hilarity being thrown at us. Also, thank you to our restreamer. Thank you to our trackers as well. All those people behind the scene making this possible for us. Thank you to, of course, Speed Gaming as well. And actually, in just a few minutes, we've got our next race coming up. We have got Aaron Doby versus In the Name of DT coming up in just a few minutes, around 11:30-ish, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's going to be right here on Speed Gaming 3 to go. Be right here. That's going to be right here on Speed Gaming 3, along with. Let's see. Where'd that go?
All right. So again,
yeah, there's a match at 12:30 on Speed Gaming 2. So just more rando all night long.
And the race coming up, I believe, is going on this channel is going to be in an inverted seed. So if you like inverted seeds, make sure to tune in for that. But I believe that is going to do us for today. I am Phantom Fox. I've been joined here today by Sports Hefe.
Absolutely, it's this was great fun. It was a pleasure working with you. Follow Phantom Fox. Follow the tracker at Look One Waffles. And obviously follow the runners, GTD and someone325. Great job, everybody. We're going to call it there and make way for the next race. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Catch us next time if you can.